Broadcasting live from the Jersey Shore, it's Coach Kev on the Damage 365 Radio Network.
How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Indy Super Show here on the Damage 365 Radio Network. I am Coach Kev, leading you way today, and we have a great show all lined up today as we interview one of the more internationally known superstars, Canada's own LuFisto. She'll be joining us momentarily, but right now let's take our first and only commercial break and get it over with and satisfy our sponsors as we sit down and have a little quarantine chat with LuFisto. We'll be back in a couple.
The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
This is Thunder Rosa, and you're listening to Damage 365 Radio.
The Funkenstein Wrestling Superstore, selling wrestling memorabilia from all around the world, including WWE, Impact, ROH, Japan, Mexico, and the Indies. They sell action figures, lucha masks, t-shirts, trading cards, magazines, DVDs, autographs, collectibles, vintage video games, and more. Stop in and get tickets for local independent wrestling such as UWA Elite, CZW, and Synergy Wrestling. Located indoors at the world-famous English Town Flea Market, Blue Building, booths 45 through 48 at 90 Wilson Avenue in Manalapan Township, New Jersey. Open every Saturday and Sunday from 8 a.m. till 3 p.m. all year round. Visit them on Facebook at facebook.com/FunkensteinINC. New Jersey's largest wrestling store is the Funkenstein Wrestling Superstore. Tell them Damage 365 sent you.
This is the last pure athlete, Jordan Grace, and you're listening to Damage 365 Radio.
Esposito's Pizza and Pasta. Check us out at one of our fine locations, 930 Route 34 in Matawan, New Jersey, or 233 East Main Street in Manasquan, New Jersey. From pizzas and salads to pasta and buffalo wings, we have something to suit every member of your family. Whether you're seeking to take out, delivery, or you just want to dine in, let us do the dishes, as we would be more than happy to take care of your next meal. Our courteous and friendly restaurant staff is here to meet and exceed all of your expectations. We promise an enjoyable experience at every time we serve you. Try our award-winning Sesame Crust Pizza, a recent winner at the Las Vegas Pizza Open. Visit us online at sesamepizza.com for store hours, menus, phone numbers to one of our great locations. Esposito's Pizza and Pasta. So close to eating at Mom's, but without all the yelling.
Hey guys, it's Tennille Dashwood, and you're listening to the Indie Super Show on the Damage 365 Radio Network.
Look at this photograph. Every time I do, it makes me laugh. How did our eyes get so red? And what the hell is on Joey's head?
Hey, wrestling promoters and booking agents, you know where you can get inexpensive prints of your hired talent? Right here at Fast Copy Printing Center, located in the Pearl of the Bay Shore. That's right. Whether you need 8x10s, 11x17s, posters, long format, or even weatherproof signs, we can do it all. We also can create promotional items for your business, such as pens, business cards, drink koozies, banners, or just a coffee mug. Stop on down to Fast Copy Print Center, 81 Broad Street in Keyport, New Jersey, or just call at 732-739-4646. No job is too big, and satisfaction is guaranteed. Tell them Damage 365 sent you.
Hey everybody, this is Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, and you are listening to Damage 365 Radio. And remember, everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man.
The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for taking that time to listen to our sponsors during this coronavirus quarantine. A lot of our businesses are still open, doing curbside and delivery, so make sure you check in, support those local mom and pop businesses, and keep America afloat. I would say, speaking of America, but that wouldn't pertain right here, but we do have the pride of Canada on the phone right now. We want to welcome in the internationally known indie superstar, LuFisto. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So, I mean, this has affected the entire world, and you know, we've been talking to some wrestlers, just trying to find out what they've been doing to keep busy, keep sane, advice out there for other people who might be going through some cabin fever and things like that. But what has LuFisto been doing through this whole ordeal?
LuFisto has been working her butt off. I actually, besides wrestling, I work for a company that makes and distributes sanitary products. Mm-hmm. So we've been like crazy, like busy, trying to provide everybody with you know, stuff to clean up, of like the virus and Purell and all that, and gloves and masks. And of course, we don't have enough stuff right now. So it's really like, there's good days and bad days, because people are calling and like a lot of people get mad because how come you don't have Purell anymore? I'm like, well, you're not the only one who's trying to get some. So yeah, we've been dealing with that for the past month or so, and yeah, so I've been doing that, and since I'm not wrestling, I've been designing a lot of gear. I design wrestling gear because I'm also a graphic designer. So I've been doing that. I've been trying real hard to train at home, but my God, it's not the same as a gym.
No, of course not. I mean, you don't got the motivation. You know, you get too much things of comfort at home. It's like you look at your gym equipment, and I'm guilty of it too. I mean, it's literally, I haven't touched it since this started, and it probably has a nice coating of dust on it at this point. But I look at it, and then I look at my couch, and I'm like, which one's better right now?
Always looks better, especially like all my cats are there. They're like, hey, why didn't you come and sit and pet us?
Oh, my dogs are probably like wishing for me to go back to work. They're like, cats are probably good with this, you know. Cats are probably good through this whole thing because, like, you know, cats have their own little personality where, like, you know, if they don't want to be bothered, they'll walk away. I have dogs, and they follow me everywhere. And it's gotten to the point where I think they want me to get the hell out of the house because they're tired of me, throwing them outside. Go outside. Go get some fresh air. Go out. They're like, yo, I'm used to sleeping on the couch while you're at work all day. What the hell is this nonsense?
My cats are like almost like dogs. Like they're always following me everywhere when I train. They're like, especially my two Persian cats, they're like right there. And then I try to do like squats or something, and then they're rolling like right in front of me, and then trying to get like right now as I'm sitting talking to you, like I have three of them. I have four cats. So I have my Siamese sitting on me. My big tuxedo cat is laying like a blob right next to me. And my male Persian is in front of me, licking his paw, looking at me. He's like, what you doing? Why are you not petting me?
Exactly. Why are you not paying attention to me? This is just rude. I mean, I've watched some of these wrestlers, and they're like doing like, you know, kind of like videos and doing some workout stuff to put on Instagram and things like that. And it's funny because like every single one of them you watch, there's like a dog walking by or a cat walking by, and they're like they know how to get into the shot. Like they know the camera's on.
Oh yeah, always. Like I did post some stuff on my Patreon because I'm trying to help like whoever wants to who needs help. Like here's what I do at home. It's like if it can help you to know what I do, but there's always like one of my cats, or my Siamese is the worst. Like he's like an intention whore. So he'll get like right in front of my phone, and then my Persian's gonna know, like walk around and put his butt in front, like, oh, so I have to start all over again. So yeah, they're like, they actually are pretty happy that I'm here on weekends.
Yeah.
Usually I work and then I come home and I go to the gym at night and then go to bed. And then, you know, wrestling on weekends. But now, like, they see me here, they're, like, kind of confused, but I can see they're happy. But they're like, what the hell are you doing here?
They're definitely, the animals are definitely confused. You know, kind of like, you know, I was saying this on a prior show. My wife works in a warehouse, and they're an essential company. She's an essential worker. They supply food and product to supermarkets in their freezer and refrigerated section of their warehouse. And then they have other warehouses that they supply to New Jersey Department of Health, respirators, masks, just like all stuff for the hospital that they can use throughout this whole thing. So like when she leaves for work, usually it's like, all right, the dogs get an hour more of a nap with me before I got to get up. Now it's like, they're like nudging me, like, are you going to get up? Like, why are you still laying there? You know, it's 10 o'clock. Get up. You gotta love pets because they keep you smiling, they keep you laughing, and you know through all this, you know, some people, you know, going through a little bit of depression or absolute boredom. The pets keep you on your toes, and the unconditional love that they give you just keeps you smiling during these tough times.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I don't know if it's the same in the United States, but in Canada, like most of the shelters are empty because people are like adopting like crazy, and it's such a good thing. Like I'm such an animal lover, and to know that these cats and dogs are finally finding like homes, and I really hope that it's going to be forever homes, and like everybody is like aware of what, like, how important can a pet be in someone's life, like the joy and the, like you said, the unconditional love and everything they bring. It's like they're always there no matter what. They will love you no matter what. If you're bored at home, they will love you. If you're sick and you get COVID, they will still love you and cuddle you. So yeah, it's one of the positive, I think, of this whole thing, that pets are finding homes, and well, we get to spend time with them.
Absolutely. And I think one of the other things that this whole situation is helping is people to learn how to have proper hygiene.
Oh, definitely. Like, how many people are not washing their hands? Now it's like, you have to. People are talking about Purell, but it's like, you don't need Purell if you wash your hands and you don't put them in your mouth after. Like, you keep your hands off your face, just wash them, and you'll be fine. It's hopefully people learn from that. And one other thing I've noticed, it seems to me that right now people have the right values. Like they're aware now that their family, they're missing them, and their friends, and the little things that you used to appreciate. Like for instance, like I always loved to go and have breakfast with my boyfriend on a Sunday.
Right.
And it's just a small little thing, but it's like, now I'm like, oh, I really miss this, and I miss going to see my grandma. My grandma's 94 years old. She's in great shape. She still lives in her home. She's awesome, and I'm like, I'm not gonna take any chances by going to see her. Like, I can call her, I could go and say hi in her window, but there's no way I'm gonna even like try to get in or whatever. Because what if I have it? And because some people do have COVID-19, they don't know they have it.
Right.
But my grandma being 94, it could be fatal to her. And it's like it's the little things like that you didn't notice before as much, and you're like, now I feel like human values are more, like, people are more aware of them, and I do hope it's going to stay that way.
You hope.
It's in the little things now. You notice the little things that are, okay, like, my cat's so important, and it's okay if I don't go out and do shopping. Like, I have everything I need at home, and I hate going to the grocery store now, but it's like, hey, you have to. But yeah, the little things, like just seeing my mom, and I do miss the wrestling, but what I miss the most is the friendships,
right.
The backstage, the talks, the laughing, and the camaraderie between the wrestlers. I think that's what I miss the most. Good thing though, the body's healing right now. It's like there's no bumps, there's no
That's true.
No hurt, so it gives us like some time to recuperate finally and actually rest on weekend, because like I said, I'm working during the week, I'm working out at night, and then I was going and traveling and wrestling. Now it's like, okay, giving my body a break, which is good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the funny thing is, you were mentioning the supermarket. I mean, I walk through the supermarket. I mean, now it's pretty bad when, like, my one thing I do during the week I look forward to is going to the supermarket. That's pretty sad. But I get there, and it's like, I know it's not going to be there, but I walk down the aisle with the toilet paper and the paper towel and the Clorox wipes and stuff. I just walk down the aisle just to humor myself. And there's nothing there, and it just, every time I do it, I literally, I must look ridiculous. I'm standing there, staring at empty shelves, scratching my head, going, how disgusting were these people prior to this virus?
I mean, yeah, how many times do you go to the toilet per day to buy so much, like, toilet paper? The good thing here is in Canada, most grocery store have a limit now.
Yeah.
A limit on bread, a limit on how much, like, toilet paper you can get and stuff. But yeah, at the beginning, people, like, just went nuts. And it's like, whoa. I mean, and the funny thing with Canada is, like, we produce toilet paper because we have, like, a big industry when it comes to wood and paper and stuff. It was like, dude, you're not going to miss, like, no, it's not, like, there's going to be toilet paper, like,
it's ridiculous.
Almost, like, just relax. Like, how many times a day do you need to wipe your butt? It's like,
the people in Canada must be loving it, though. But they're like, look at these idiot Americans with all this toilet paper orders making us so much money now.
Oh, sweet Lord, yeah.
I don't get it.
I don't know if it's the same for you, but yeah, when we go to the grocery store now, we have to keep that, well, for us it's 2 meters, but it would be like 6 feet apart from each other.
Yeah.
So there's lots on the floor, and when you go down the aisle, there's like arrows, and you have to go, the way the arrows point you.
Yeah.
And you have to stay 6 feet away and not touch. And if you have to cough or whatever, it has to be in your elbow. And everybody's looking at you weird. You can't cough. You can't sneeze. So you have to stay away. And every time I go there, I just want to go and get my grocery and get the hell out. Like I go, like, I've never, like, done my groceries, like, so fast. Like, I just want to get my stuff and leave.
Yeah, it is. It doesn't leave time for browsing. That's for sure. You just go there, get what you need, and you get the hell out.
Last week, my boyfriend's like, I need stuff because he's an essential worker too. So he's like cleaning up. Actually, he's on the COVID-19 cleaning team at a big industry here, and he's like, I need stuff for my lunch. I was like, oh God. So the grocery, like, closes at 8. So we showed up at like 7:45, and he went in, ran, grabbed all his stuff, and just got out like in 10 minutes. That's how fast, like, he did groceries. So, like, I don't want to go stay there, because there's always that one or two, I don't know if I can say that, beat me if I can, but asshole.
Oh, no, trust me, I worked retail my entire life.
Like, who's not following, like, the rules.
Mm-hmm.
So he's, like, going the wrong way. He's gonna touch all the vegetables and then put them back. Like, don't you get it? Like,
Yeah,
so I like people to get us mad. So by doing that, like, you do a quick 10 minutes, you run through the alley, get your stuff, and you get the hell out just before it closes. So there's less people. So that's what we did. That's how we do grocery now, in and out.
That's like one of the retail nightmares about working in the retail industry is, 10 minutes before close. Some companies allow you to lock the door and just let people out.
Mm-hmm.
Some companies don't, like the big box stores like supermarkets and Walmart and Target and Costco and stuff like that. So people walk in like 5-2, and you're literally getting like the stare of death from every cashier on the way in. So
it's like one friend, like, thank God I'm not working there, but God bless him. He's working at Walmart, and one of them, he's a manager there, but one of his employees, there's a person who didn't want to follow the rules. The person like spat on the employee. I'm like, how disgusting are you? It's like, it's to that point where you get, like, we're pretty good here. Like, I will say that the Canadian government and the Quebec government especially, they're so, like, on it. Like, it's incredible how, like, good they've been to the people, to the businesses and everything. But then again, there's, like, those few people who just won't listen, and then you get spat on. And there's a girl who was on the radio this week. She's working at a grocery, and there's a lady who had 6 breads with her, and the little girl, she's like 17, goes like, you can only get 2. Like, we have a limit now. And the lady got so pissed, she threw the bread at her in her face. I'm like, oh
my God.
So you see very good and human being with trying to respect the rules and that everybody's safe, but you see the worst, and I call them COVIDiots. Like, the most, like the stupidest people ever. Like, it's like, now you see them. It's like, they're out there. Like, it's like, oh, Lord. Like,
I mean, there's people like those end of the world conspiracy theorist people like that kind of have like this end of the world bunker like in their basement or underneath their property or whatever, and they're buying like hundreds of dollars of canned food and they're putting it down there in bottles of water and things like that. I mean, great. I mean, if it ever happened, more power to you. You're prepared, but that shit expires. Like, what do? Do you go down there every 3 years and swap out your inventory?
And the sad part is because of people, the hoarders like that, because of that, there's regular people who want to do regular grocery. They go to the store and there's nothing left.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's nothing left because so many, like, people, like, got too much stuff that, like you're saying, are going to throw away in the end anyway.
Yep.
Like, just go once a week, get what you need, get the hell out, and go back next week. Yep. There's still going to be food because the delivery is an essential service, so that keeps going. The agriculture is still, everything's still working. Here, construction just started again. They're fixing the cars slowly. Like, you can't sell cars and stuff, but if there's a problem with your car, they're going to fix it now. Like, slowly they're opening up some businesses, like, always by respecting that 6 feet apart from people and wash your hands when you get in. In each store now, you got to wash your hand as soon as you open the door. But it's doable, and most people, like I said, are listening to the rules and to what people are doing. The governments are telling us, but COVIDiots everywhere.
It's bad. it's just stupidity. It just runs rampant. They just opened up the beaches in Florida yesterday, and like thousands of people on the beach. I don't get. I mean, New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut is kind of, we consider it like the tri-state area. Yeah. They kind of do everything together. One does it, the other two do it. So I think it was by the end of this month they're going to start to open up the marinas and stuff. So The fishermen can go back out. The deliveries can come into the ports and things like that. And so, I mean, like you said, absolutely. I mean, slowly it's, like you said, slowly it's starting to happen, but people don't understand moderation. So it's, they can't say, all right, the beach is open, so you know what? Maybe in a couple days we'll go down and take a walk on the beach. No. Like you and 1,000 people go down to the beach, literally defeats the entire purpose of what everybody's been doing with the social distancing. It's insanity. I mean, I understand. Look, people are bored; they want to get out of their house, but it's Florida. The lunatics like multiply like gremlins when they get wet in Florida.
I don't get that, and I don't get why people would protest, like, why are governmenters stopping us from doing what we want? I'm like, it's more than something. This is not about freedom. This is about public health. This is about saving somebody's life, maybe not yours, because you'll probably be fine. Like most people below 50 who will get that thing will be fine.
Yep.
But like anybody who has a bad immune system or is older, well, you could be that person who gives it to them, and because of you, they die.
Right.
And then it goes like a family is grieving, a husband or a wife is grieving, and children. It's like the one thing you do, like going to the beach, could kill someone. And I was like, it's funny because on my Facebook this week, I was like, so people are protesting and they're saying walking in the streets for the Second Amendment from 1791, but they won't accept, doing things for people's health. It's like, I don't know if it's my Canadian ass doesn't get it, but I was like, please explain to me how this works, because I don't get it. And I remember when I was living in the States and I was a resident, every time I would bring the subjects like, why you guys are not fighting for health care? It's not normal that you break your arm and it costs you like $8,000. And a lot of people were telling me, you don't like it here, just go back to Canada, bitch. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, I want you to be safe and good, and if something happens to you, I want you to get taken care of, and you're telling me to go to hell? I was like, I don't get that. And then the Florida, the beaches and stuff, I was like, how is it an essential? And honestly, let's say it, let's talk about it. There is no way wrestling is an essential.
That was going to be a question I was going to ask you. I spoke to Thunder Rosa about that too, and
you can tell me. And I've been doing wrestling for 24 years. I love it. I love every aspect of it. I love being in the ring. I love helping the new generation, setting up matches. I love watching it. I love hearing about it, everything. But maybe it's because I come from a family. My mom was a nurse. My godmother was a nurse. My uncle was working cleaning up the hospital, and my other aunt was doing the archives and all that stuff at the hospital. So I come from a family that's been, in hospitals for generations. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I'm like, no, this is essential. Food is essential. But wrestling, as much as I love it and I miss it, it is not. It is dangerous for your talent. It is dangerous for your staff, especially if they have to go around and fly and go from state to state or country to country, whatever. It's like, God.
I also look at it from a different, aspect because, they're kind of confining it all to the performance center. Mm-hmm. Which means everybody's, I guess, staying within that area for the tape shows and things. Yeah. But what happens if someone gets hurt? Now they got to go to the hospital. That's one less bed that a coronavirus victim has. Mm-hmm. So it's like, was it really necessary that person, dislocated or broke something, jumping off the top rope or jumping out of the ring to take a bet away from somebody that's sick. I mean, other people will say, well, it's entertainment. It's a form of entertainment. The general public sitting at home, they need that entertainment to keep their heads on straight. Yeah. I understand that part of it, but with this day and age of streaming services and an unlimited supply of TV and radio and free versions of all of it,
I think
you don't need wrestling.
Jim Cornette, because I listen to this podcast a lot, I think he said it best. I think it's last week. He said, they have the biggest library ever. Like, they have so much stuff they could show. And probably they would make, like, good ratings showing some old Raws with Steve Austin or old WrestleManias. Or when it comes to content, they have so much stuff, and they have interesting, like, biographies and so many things.
They got a lot of stuff that's not even on the network yet. This would be a good time to launch it.
So it's like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not there, and I can't pretend that I know what I would do if this was my company. But one thing for sure is, as a human being, I wouldn't want to put anybody in harm's way or take any chances with health or, I mean, look at Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
With his immune system, I totally get why he would stay home. I think he's the smartest in that whole story. Like, I think his wife is pregnant too, or he has a daughter. Or I'm not fully aware of his, situation, but just because of what he went through, he made the right decision. Definitely.
Absolutely. And, but a lot of people would say, the internet wrestling community, they're a very, very finicky bunch. They'll complain on both sides of the spectrum. But one thing I will have to agree with that I've read as well about Roman Reigns is in a position to do that. He is a corporate, he's the corporate guy. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not saying the suit guy, but he's the guy. He's the WWE John Cena of this era. He's in position that he can do that. John Cena can do that. Undertaker can do that. But a guy that was recently released, like a Kurt Hawkins or a Zack Ryder, they're not in a position where they can say no.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is based on fear. Like, I don't think anybody that's not like a bigger name would say no to anything they're asking in fear of being fired. Because they will fire, and they will fire like 20, 30 people at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, they laid off, like 33 people between workers, referees, backstage, agents. But a lot of them were released with the intention of possible rehire once. Once there's once there's revenue coming back in, which people don't understand in a business aspect. Yes, Vince is a billionaire and his company's worth billions and blah, 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 but he still has to have revenue. There's no crowds. There's no ticket sales.
Oh, yeah, I get that.
So, they got to make cuts or they're going to go bankrupt, because they're paying out more than they're taking in. And nobody can do that on a long period. So
yeah, the only thing I can hope for is that people who are promised to be hired back that are on furlough or so, I hope that this promise, that they actually respect it. And once things come back to, I don't think anything's going to be back to fully normal. Like, things have to change.
Right.
But at least I do hope for them that, they will get their job back. Especially if they're, it's their dream job. Or I feel for a guy like Zack Ryder, he can do so much somewhere else.
Right.
That I'm not even afraid for him. He's such a creative guy.
Oh, absolutely.
He's very talented. Like he to me, like he's a self-made man. Like he can go out there and he's so creative. So, like, for him, like, I really think it might have been what he needed to get to the next level. Because by being able to do everything he wants, because not being in the machine where they control everything. I think we're going to see a lot more from him, and a lot better too.
I hope so. I mean, but at the same point, he might be at the point of his career and in life where he'd be like, you know what? I did what I did. I did everything I wanted to do. Maybe I'm going to start the next journey of my life doing something else. I mean, who knows?
Oh, definitely.
I mean, you never know. I mean, some of these wrestlers have, businesses on the side that they started, during their wrestling career, and maybe sometimes they need that little kick in the ass of, AKA getting fired, to give them the motivation to go ahead with their business and say, I'm all in.
Yeah, definitely. So anyway, I really wish them the best, and I hope whatever happens, it turns out the way they want to, and as long as they're happy with wherever they're going. I mean, the good thing right now is there's a lot more than WWE now.
Yeah.
You can go to NWA, there's Ring of Honor, there's New Japan, there's Impact, there's NWA.
AEW.
That's the good thing right now. And the indies are really strong, so there's so many, there's other options now. And even if you're one of those who watches WWE and you complain and you don't like it, watch something else.
Yep.
Like there's in All Elite, there's so many things, like so many promotions you can watch, and there's so much content online now with the independent wrestling TV and all that stuff. Like it's a great time for wrestling because you don't need WWE anymore. There's so many other promotions you can watch and support.
Absolutely. I mean, and easy access to get to that programming. Mm-hmm. And you have a lot of independent wrestling companies now doing, YouTube broadcasting or Hulu or different streaming services where you can get, their past history matches and, right up to before this all happened. So there's a lot out there, and a lot of people have to realize just because you get released from WWE doesn't mean it's the end of the world. There's many wrestlers that have made more money on the independent scene than they ever did with WWE.
Definitely, and the beautiful thing, I've always said that, the beautiful thing about being an independent is the freedom that comes with it. Mm-hmm. You can say yes, you can say no, you can travel where you want, you can wrestle who you want, you can accept every booking that you want. So yes, you can make a lot more money if you're smart about it. Oh my God, yeah, and the freedoms. You don't feel like working one weekend because you want to take off. You want to spend time with your family or whatever. You want to give your body a rest. You can. It is the beautiful thing about independent wrestling. You can do what you want. You're your own boss.
Yep, absolutely. And you have the one thing on the independent level that you don't have at WWE unless you're a John Cena or Hulk Hogan or guys like that. You have 100,000% creative control.
Exactly. You can, and not only that, because a lot of bigger promotions, and it's not just wrestling. It's same thing is with the NHL and all that stuff. Like you gotta come in dressed like in a suit, whatever. Mm-hmm. When you're an independent, if you're a metal guy, you can come to the shows wearing your jeans and your metal shirt, and or if you're Zubaz, your fanny pack and whatnot, like you have that freedom. You can be who you are. You don't have to pretend or look different than what you are in real life. You have that freedom just to be yourself, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, to what you were saying, and I attend lots of Warriors of Wrestling shows, and you got Darius Carter, who dresses head to toe, just presents himself beautifully. He's, got the shirt, the tie, the jacket, and then you got the honky tonk man that shows up in his pajamas.
And I'm sure he's really comfortable and happy.
So, yeah, I mean, it's Yeah, like we were saying, you're in control of yourself at the independent scene, and and they're gonna miss the guys and the girls and the road and the the car trips and stuff like that, and the laughs and all the friendships that they've made during their years there. But you get to do all that with new people. You're not restricted to whoever's thrown in front of you at NXT or WWE. Now you get to travel all over the world and meet all these new crazy, people that you might have only heard of or seen on Twitter or seen on YouTube. Now you get to see it like live in front of you and
work with them, and you have more freedom to go to a promoter and say, "Hey, I saw this guy. Is this match possible?"
Yeah.
You have the freedom to actually have a little creative input. I'm not saying you don't on a bigger scale, because some people will, but I think it's more it's easier on the independents. Like, hey, have you heard from this person? I would really love to work. I think we could do something good. And being an independent, well, the booker can book whoever he wants. So if he sees money and if he sees yeah, that's a great match, that would get some buy-in online or whatever, then the match can be a reality.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to ask a question that I put out that we were going to be having you on the show, and a couple people sent me some questions to ask you.
Oh, thanks.
And one of them was, will we ever see LuFisto, if they bring back the Mae Young Classic, will we ever see you on it?
I doubt it. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think anything WWE is going to happen.
Okay. Now, with the Mae Young Classic, because there's been tons of girls on in that tournament that you've worked with hand in hand all over the world. Do you feel this was supposed to be a tournament type thing that's supposed to showcase the very best of female wrestling and at the independent scene? Do you feel that it's fulfilling its promotion?
No, because it's not there. It's not about showing off the best around the world. It's just putting the people from the performance center there. Bring some girls that get all of them made it to the first round, and then move your girls up there. I mean, I understand why. It's the people you invested in. It's the people you signed.
Right.
But you can't go out there and pretend these are the best of independent wrestling when there's some girls who've never wrestled before, but then you started training, and then you put them in the tournament. I mean, I understand why they do it, and it's their company, and of course they want to showcase whoever they have under contract, which is the smart thing to do, and the good business plan, probably. But, I mean, if you want to bring the best in the world, there should be Madison Eagles there. There should be Saraya Knight. There should be Cheerleader Melissa. And so many other names that, Thunder Rosa should have been there, and Jordan Grace, and all these girls that some of them, thank God, they do have contracts now. Right. But they should have been there before, and they were not. And, yeah, definitely. I mean, if you want to talk about best in the world, then there's a lot of names that should have been there.
Yep, I agree. And I've had this argument before, and, of course, I get yelled at by some of the wrestling fans saying, if you're not happy with it, then shut the fuck up. Don't watch it. It's not it's not the point. The point is look, if you're advertising, my whole thing, I thought the biggest scam was the women's evolution. I thought it was the biggest scam of wrestling fans. They pulled the wool over everybody's eyes, telling the fans, hey, we're listening to you. This is what we want to do. Not taking away from any of the ability and what the women in the WWE have done. They've done great. but they're going to push the same 4 to 5 girls regardless of who else is on the roster. They proved that over and over again. And, you know, now it's like, oh, they took you can't even say women's division, can't say the women's champion, you can't say women this, you know, and then they had the pay-per-view, and they treated it like a glorified house show with the metal guardrails, no pyro, you know, basically the secondary ramp, like the crappy ring skirt. It was treated like a house show. And then during the show, which was a total slap in the face, I felt, to the women's division, was in the advertising for the Crown Jewel show in Saudi Arabia during the women's show. And that's like...
Yeah, I've been vocal about that. I'm having a hard time with anything that's happening in Saudi Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
I spoke to someone in WWE that I'm not going to name because it's something, you know, it's a discussion we had privately. And the person was telling me, you have to understand that for the women out there that are in the crowd, to them, it is a big deal to see women on the show.
Right.
Because it's, and I get that.
But it took what, 4 shows for that to happen?
Yeah. I get that, you know, if you're a woman in Saudi Arabia and you're sitting in the crowd and you see a woman on the show, you see hope. I get that. My only problem, and that's where I'm like, I don't know if it's because I fought so hard for women wrestlers to be equals, and I fought the government, and I got punched in the face so hard by men who didn't want me to be there in the ring with them because, you know, not that I'm complaining, but different times, you know, when I started, things were different, and women were an attraction, almost a joke.
Mm-hmm.
And because I wanted to be taken seriously, and I wanted to be one of the boys and wanted to be equal. Like, I got my ass kicked, and I got laughed at, and I got spat on, and there's, like, I could write a whole book about this. But different times, like I said, my main problem with this is, yes, you are providing hope to the people, to the girls out there, but you are here talking about a revolution, women being superstars, women being equals, and then you go to a country where women are not equals, where your girls have to wrestle wearing, like, long sleeves up to the neck shirts. And what really got me is when I saw Lana wearing the whole hijab, like the...
Yeah.
I don't know if it, you know, the head covered and everything, and I'm like, you know what? Don't come after and pretend and say we are a revolution. We, you know, women this, and we won't say women, and we're equals, and we're super. It's just like either you are or you are not.
Right.
Either you support your female talent and they're equals and they're treated as such, or you go where, well, depending on how much money we get, we'll see.
Right.
So to me, it's like, I'm trying real hard to understand the point of view of that girl that's sitting in the crowd. For her, it's hope. But then it's everything else that we hear. It's like, it doesn't make sense. And it's really hard for me to understand. Like I said, I don't know, it's because of my background and everything that happened throughout my career. And it's like, I know there's a fan who's like, well, you're just bitter. I'm like, I'm not bitter at all. No. I'm trying to understand because I've been there. Like I said, spat on, punch in the face, broken bones, everything because women... You know, some guys back then, women didn't belong in a ring, and we were not equals, and we were attractions at popcorn matches, and or the pee match, like literally, like, oh, it's a women's match, I'll just go to the restroom and have a cigarette. And thank God things have changed so much today. Like, women's wrestling is everything is so much better. Women have places they can call home, their own promotions, their own shows. They're doing main events of men's shows. A lot of us like had men's championships.
Yeah.
But it's like,
yeah. I mean, that's another thing I want to talk to you about. Like, everybody kind of lost their shit when Tessa Blanchard won the Impact World title.
Well, it is technically the first time that a bigger promotion does that, but it's nothing new. It's like this whole women's revolution. It is not WWE. It's certainly the knockouts years ago with Gail Kim and Awesome Kong. That really helped.
Right.
But it is the women of the independent scene that made it happen. It's promotions like, Combat Zone Wrestling, who let me wrestle the guys, and Shimmer, who had the first women's shows, and like, it's really, everything happened in a smaller scale, and then I always say, like, oh, they saw that and saw they could make money, and they brought it on a bigger scale.
Of course,
if we're just talking bigger, like way before WWE, the Knockouts were doing it, and they were doing a great job with, like I said, Gail Kim and Amada and Awesome Kong, and Roxy Laveau was there, and Daphne. It's like, I feel people forget about that, and
well, they were the first major company to run an all women's pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
And people kind of forgot about that. I mean, but yeah, they were the first ones to ever do it.
That's one thing that's sad when it comes to women's wrestling. A lot of people are like, "Oh, this is the first time this happened." I'm like,
nah.
Did you Google? Did you research?
Yeah. Well, WWE likes to rewrite history. You know that.
Yeah, but even sometimes, like on the independent scale or whatever, they're like, "Oh, this thing happened in this is the first time a woman is the main champion of promotions." And I'm like, did you Google it? Because a lot of fans, I think it happened with me and Kimberly, because Kimberly is the first Shakara champion, which is freaking awesome because I love Kim. She's one of my favorite opponents.
Yep,
but when
awesome.
that happened, I got so many fans sending me messages. I'm like, did you see this? Like the people are saying she's the first. I'm like, she's the first Shakara. She's like, yeah, but they say she's the first ever. I'm like, well, I was like, and at this point, I think it was like I had 4 male main championships in my career. The first one being in 2001.
Yeah, yeah, it's the problem with back then is the lack of internet presence.
Yeah, and the lack of research. It's not too hard to go around and look on websites and ask people. It's like, hey, is this the first time or is this and this? And there's going to be that one fan that knows it. Like, no, this happened. I was there. No, this is not the first time this, and this. I was there. So it's just, I don't know if it's...
No.
You gotta research. There's a lot of things. And I'm talking about women's wrestling, but it's the same for men wrestling. Oh, it's the first time this thing happens, but no, this guy did it years ago when, I don't know why this popped in my head. They're like, oh, Joy Ryan's the first one with the penis, whatever. I'm like, did you hear about sexy Eddie? So, it's the funny thing about it, they're doing stuff together now, but to me it was like, guys, research. Look, it's Google. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, people don't really. You got the people who immediately go to Google and try to re-educate people, and I always laugh and call those the people who have the degree in Googlenomics, and then you have the other people that forget that that there is a website out there where you can get anything that you need information wise with pretty much one click, and maybe you should do that before making comments. But yeah, I mean, look, it is what it is when it comes to the internet wrestling fans. they're never going to be satisfied. They're either going to love it or they're going to hate it. There's really no equal, in the middle with them. It's they're
there's great people out there too. I mean, I get a lot of love from people from all over the world. I feel really blessed and I'm grateful for it. And yes, I do get the one or two, hater, and I get the ones who are really, really into what I do, but then there's just like the very good, supportive fan who's like, hey, whatever you do, like, we got your back, and it's super cool, and it's people like that keep you going. Like, you gotta focus on those people who, give you that fuel that you need, and you gotta try to
yeah.
too much about the other ones.
Well, no, I agree, and we seem to be having a little bit of audio issues. You kind of like faded out, sounded like you're talking through a tin can at this point. So maybe that might be time to wrap this up. I mean, we actually been on for almost an hour. So I do appreciate you giving us a call and talking to us and giving the wrestling fans out there something to listen to during this coronavirus quarantine. And it's just it's interesting to see wrestlers are normal people, and people need to understand that. Yep. So. But yeah, I appreciate you giving us a call, and we'll definitely be in touch with you. And hopefully, when this is all said and done, and we're back to some form of normalcy, we can do something in the States soon.
I hope so. I miss my people in the States.
Okay. All right, LuFisto, I appreciate it, and thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, take care.
Take care.
That's LuFisto, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about the audio late in that part of the interview. She is calling from Canada, so I don't know if that had anything to do with it. But yeah, thanks for tuning in to episode number 3 of the Indie Super Show. Thanks to all our sponsors here at the Damage 365 Radio Network, and we'll see you next week.
Accept the Lord of Darkness as your Savior. Allow the purity of evil to guide you